So, my name is Zoe Perry-Wood. I'm a photographer. I'm mainly a social documentary photographer. The way that I started photographing Carnival and also the Bagley Youth was sort of a long story, but I was best friends with someone who came out we were in our teens when he came out, and I saw what happened with him. He was ostracized. His house was spray painted, and you know, it was pretty tough. And you know, that was back in the '70s, and then later on, I came out as a lesbian, and he moved to P-Town, so he would spend summers in P-Town, winters in Boston, and then eventually winters in New York. And I would ride my bike down to the ferry, take the ferry across to P-Town, and then land on his couch for periods of time in P-Town. And that put me in the middle of a gay male culture, you know, in the 80s and 90s. And I have a lot of memories of that time, and some of them include young gay men who are dying of AIDS. Some of them include drag queens and drag queen performers, or just people who were drag queens for the fun of it. And it was a really interesting culture to be a part of. And as the years went on, I watched some, and I was a part of, you know, sort of a gay culture that struggled with not only dealing with HIV, but also dealing with fighting for the right to be parents, to be foster parents, fighting for gay marriage, which we've won here at least. And now one of the key issues is transgender rights and other kinds of rights. And you know, as I was part of this, I thought about P-Town, because I would often go to P-Town, and it's sort of, you know, it's a very different kind of place in some ways. It's a place that not only do you have that gay culture, but you have families who are vacationing, straight families, and you have a Portuguese culture, fishing culture. It's a fishing village as well. And you have the whole art community. You have gallery after gallery, and it has a history as an art commune, as an art, as a, you know, the tip of this piece of land. Artists went there for quite a long time. So you have this melting pot, and at this particular time, it exists this way for a particular reason, and I think that might change. I think that right now it's there, and the gay culture is there, the drag culture is there, because it needs to be there, because it is important to have a place for people to go where they can fully express themselves, where they can really be themselves. And that's kind of what I see going on at Carnival, is people just being themselves on the street and anywhere they want, just being themselves fully, dressing up and having a great time. And having, you know, in terms of relating to this show, having a great time with pop culture, with pop art, making fun of society, sort of taking all of that and exaggerating it to the point where it's just funny, it's just a blast. And people just have fun with it, and people enjoy watching it, people enjoy being part of it. And so for some people it's that, and for some people it's a part of their identity and who they are, and they get to be themselves there. And it's not so much for fun, it's really kind of an urgent, like, this is where I get to fully be myself and show that. And so I thought, you know, this might not always exist this way. Things are changing in our culture, slowly, from my point of view, but they are changing, and they might change to the point where this mixture of people might not need to exist in this way, and this expression might not need to be here in this same way in the future. And I thought, I want to document this. I want to capture this moment in time, right now, where this is happening. and I felt like it's important, and so I photographed. I went and I photographed Carnival. I photographed on the streets, and then I started thinking about a couple of things. One was I wanted to have a little bit more of a relationship with the subjects, and so I started doing portraits. I brought this cumbersome setup, but I didn't want to separate myself from the allure of the street. I set up right there, right on the side of the street. I set up a portable studio, and I bring people over, especially at Drag Bingo, which is a great event, and I do portraits right there.